Tributes from across the country have poured in for Prince Philip, including from the British Sikh community, who in a letter to the Queen called him a pioneer in promoting interfaith understanding. I'm joined by Lord Singh of Wimbledon, who is the director of the network of Sikh organisations UK. Lord Singh, thank you very much indeed for being with us. Your recollections and memories of the Duke of Edinburgh?
Yeah, I've met him, the Duke, on many occasions, and I've always been very impressed by his knowledge and perhaps most of all by his wisdom and sense of humour. I was a party to the Sacred Literature Trust, a group meeting at Buckingham Palace where we would put together literature from different faiths. And I met him frequently there. He always had a joke and a smile. Once when I was walking in Buckingham Palace, I became a frequent visitor. I was going up some steps and he was coming down, and I said some greeting. And as soon as I opened my mouth, he said, "Thought for the day, Guru Nanak. You've been bringing the wonderful teachings of Guru Nanak to us, and we're very grateful." He's very knowledgeable. He's knowledgeable about other faiths, but he was also very practical. The Queen's Award, the Duke of Edinburgh Award. This is something that my children and grandchildren went for. It is a wonderful scheme. Then he was very good at his sense of humor came over always. Once the royal family were good enough to invite me to lunch, and there he was in a teasing, laughing way, shooing away the corgis. He always had something good to laugh about, to joke about, a wonderful personality. And I got to know him and the royal family very well because I'm a member of the group that participates in the Commonwealth service. And we'd always meet afterwards and he'd exchange a joke, as did other members of the royal family. In fact, Her Majesty the Queen would refer to me by my first name, Inderjit. So a wonderful personality. Will miss the Duke, but his legacy will carry on in many ways. He has done so much for us. It's extraordinary how much they've involved other communities and other faiths. I know that at one time they were thinking of moving the Commonwealth service to another place, not Westminster Abbey, because they wanted to make it more Christian. And Her Majesty said, "If you do that, I won't come." So they have always been embracing all communities. And I think that the Duke of Edinburgh was a leader in that, so much in so many ways for all communities.
He recognised the power of religion, didn't he? In 1986, he prompted religious leaders and environmental bodies to come together in Assisi in Italy. And I noticed the invitation to each participant said, "Come proud of your own tradition, but humble enough to learn from others." I wonder how much that was a motto by which he lived himself.
I believe he did, because he was always learning. He was always inquiring. In any meeting I was at, he would try and search a bit more, know a bit more, rather than trying to preach in some way. He was always a learner. And for me as a Sikh means learner, that really is something wonderful in him. He was, I think although he was 99, he was very young at heart. The more we met, the friendlier he would be.
From what you describe and what the accounts we've heard from so many, Lord Singh, since the death of the Duke of Edinburgh, he wasn't somebody who merely turned up at events to show his face and his presence. He was someone who was very much engaged with everything that he did and everyone that he met.
Absolutely. He always showed interest. Even he would always come up and find time to chat. He actually enjoyed what he was doing, the role he was playing, and he learned from it. And he made some really wise comments. I heard this morning someone, I think it was John Humphrey, saying, "But what about youngsters today? They are wanting in so many ways." And he said older generations have been saying that for years, ever since the time of Pericles. He was rooted in wisdom, and it was always a pleasure to be in his company. And his mark went off. He made his mark on the royal family as a whole. They were all interested in interfaith understanding, in conserving the environment, in looking to make the people and the planet, the planet a better place for all its people.
And in those causes that he championed, Lord Singh, the environment and the natural world, encouraging interfaith dialogue, for example, how much was he a man that was was ahead of his time?
Oh, I think not only Prince Philip, but the royal family have been ahead of their time for many, many years. Their time is coming. When we're talking about interfaith understanding now, they were talking about it 20 or 30 years ago. And he was the leader, Prince Philip was the leader in that. They could see that we are all one common humanity, not only the Commonwealth, but all human beings. We're all one common family. And that came over in the way they did the Commonwealth service, involving all communities. It wasn't a strictly Christian celebration. It was for all communities, and we all played our parts. And afterwards we would meet, and he invariably shared a joke or two. He was very, very easy to talk to and get on with.
Lord Singh of Wimbledon, thank you very much indeed for joining us. This is Sky News. Coming up, we'll have the latest from Aintree ahead of